Jeff is a part of a team known as Expedition Overland. They build vehicles capable of going anywhere and travel the world seeing sights and experiencing culture from the driver's seat. They've been from Alaska, where they experienced whale hunters, and all the way to Central America, where they had amazing Hispanic dishes. Soon, they will be in South America for their next trip. Jeff is the head mechanic, and here's what he has to say about whether ecotourism is imperialistic or not.
How's it going?
Pretty good. How about you?
Good. Just cranking away here, getting our build ready for South America.
So, I guess for the first question, how have you and your guys' team participated in ecotourism, and would you consider yourself an ecotourist?
Gotcha. Yeah, I would consider us ecotourists, even though that is not our primary goal. We try to keep that in mind. So, like you said, you started by watching our Alaska series. Before all of that started, we went through a tread lightly course, which is really for off-roaders, off-road enthusiasts. And a lot of that is about, not going out and just ripping up trails or making new trails and things of that nature, respecting the land that you're at or that you're on. And so we try to keep that in mind as we go through, all of our off-road travels. So there's one point in Alaska where we were driving across the old Denali Highway, did some off-roading there, got a little gnarly, a little muddy. I actually got stuck. And we decided to turn around because we were just going to rip up the trail if we kept going. We could have got our vehicle unstuck in and kept going, but we decided to turn around. And there would have been cool things for us to go see beyond that point, but it just wasn't worth it. And, it's springtime. Well, Alaska springtime is June. So, they could have gotten a lot more rain on that trail and eroded a lot more. So there's things like that. Also, we try to keep in mind we are always guests in the places when we go to. So when we go to that whaling village up in the Northwest Territory of Canada, we're a guest there. We're not trying to impede on anyone's lifestyle or culture. We're trying to experience it. So in those senses, yeah, I would say we are ecotourists.
Yeah, and I noticed how you guys asked to go to the village that was abandoned at that point, and he said no, and you guys respected that and didn't go out that way, and he took you by there and everything. And I thought that was pretty cool, and definitely a good example of a respectful ecotourist and what people should strive to do when they're out there.
Yeah, sure.
All right, I guess we can move on to number 2. Overlanding can be a form of ecotourism when taken to the extents that you guys take. Are there any positive impacts from you taking your vehicles through these places? Any negatives that you guys can think of?
Sure, yeah, I think there's some of both. I think the positives, one was what's happened, and we'll get to that a little later too, is what we did in Central America. We were transport for a medical team to go into a remote area and help out that community, so that was a really positive deal. We've also brought supplies to a couple other people in different instances. They knew we were on the way and we were able to help them out. So those are positive things. Also positive on our end, when we get into some areas that we don't feel are very safe, or we know that aren't very safe, it's really easy for us to just zip on through, and we're not targets for anybody. Some of that would bring on ourselves because, the vehicles we roll in, and we're a show, so we kind of draw attention to ourselves in that regard. But it is nice for us to have the comfort of a vehicle to move through an area if we need to. And it also allows us, in a way, to have a bit of lower impact on certain areas because we're self-sustained out of those vehicles. So we don't need anything from those areas that we stay in. We have 4 wheels on the ground and a ladder from a rooftop tent, and that's our impact right there. Yep. In that regard, it is helpful. I guess in regard that it's negative, obviously we're in vehicles that burn fuel. So there's that pollution side that people would call negative, I guess. But we try to be as efficient as we can with that, even with the amount of gear we have and the amount of people we have. We try to travel in the least amount of vehicles we need for that. expedition. So we usually, we started out 2 vehicles in Alaska, and then we grew in production gear and in people. So we did 3 vehicles in Central America. Our McKinsey trail we did 3 vehicles in a trailer, and that's what we'll do again in South America. But we use every inch of space that we have. So we try to be efficient, but it is pollution. So
Yep.
there's no way around that vehicle right now.
For sure. Yeah, and stuff like I noticed with the Central America run through. I don't remember if I was in Ojai there or what I was watching, but I remember someone saying for Central America, you guys didn't plan any food or pack any food because it was such a long trip that you kind of had to just come across food as you guys went and all that. And I noticed that was too with Alaska, as you guys were making grocery trips and whatnot to get the food in order to I think that's good because you're kind of putting money back into that area, supporting the economy in those areas and whatnot, kind of supporting their businesses.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Moving on to number 3. When in these other regions experiencing different cultures, do you guys take any measures to try and help the area you're in, such as spending money at the local shops to fund their economical situation? Which I guess is kind of just what I said, but...
Sure. Yeah, we do. It's nice that, we go down there. Obviously we are fortunate and blessed to live in the United States where life is really good. And so we have the means to put money into those cultures. Part of it is, stimulating the economy there. Obviously, we're only, 9 or 8 people, but we try to spend money in areas where we can, and it helps us, get some of the culture too. Food is such a big thing for a cultural experience, so we try to go to every, little taco stand or whatever it is that we can to have those experiences. We've gone to, local gift shops. There are the gift shops that just sell whatever they buy from China, but there's gift shops with real things too.
Yeah.
And then, even where we stay, it's not every night that we're in our rooftop tents, or sometimes we are, but we'll go to a local kind of RV park area. Or there's a couple fincas that we stayed in down through Central America that were awesome. And all of that stuff helps you embrace the culture. So it's kind of a give and take. We get to go there, experience the culture, but by doing so, we're paying money to these different institutions and giving back, and it's definitely worth your while. So we like to plug into communities as much as we can.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. You said you stayed in, what was it, fincas in Central America? What was that?
Finca? Yeah.
Finca, okay.
Yeah.
What,
so it's just like a little, it's nothing like we have here, because a lot of it's outdoor kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's like a hotel/hostel, if you will.
Huh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yep, it's pretty cool. All right, moving on to number 4 is, when in these places did other cultures always welcome you guys with open arms, or were there cases where outsiders were looked down upon, like you guys specifically?
Yeah, for the most part, everyone's been really hospitable to us. Like going through Mexico, we came across this, and it's in our show, we came across this family with an Irish last name, but they were all from Mexico or Mexican descent. We rolled in there late at night. It was downpour. We were drenched, and we're like, okay, I guess we'll open up camp and make food. And they came over and invited us into the family reunion that they were having.
Yeah.
So we've had a lot of cool experiences like that, and we go home and we're Facebook friends with these people, and it's these cool relationships that you get to build with international people, which is really cool. But yeah, as far as people not being hospitable, it's more of areas where it's a little dangerous. Like, it's no one just being mean because they see us and they don't like who we are. It's usually places that would not be hospitable for anybody. So, but yeah, we've had open arms almost everywhere we've gone.
Awesome. So it seems like other cultures like that you guys have experienced and you've gone to have always kind of been happy to see ecotourists in some way, not necessarily like, oh, cool tourists, but like, cool people are coming, we enjoy new people kind of thing.
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome. Cool. Well, number 5 is, there is an argument that humans' presence in natural places disrupts animals' natural habitats and causes them to act differently. Do you guys feel that your presence out in nature is negatively impacting the wildlife there? I guess that's more kind of directed towards when you guys are out on the trails, like
Sure.
when you're out there actually wheeling.
Yeah. That's a great question. It's something that we're pretty conscious of here in Montana too. Just because we have a lot of wildlife around us, we're all avid outdoorsmen, and we try to keep that to a bare minimum. We're not going to go tear anything up. We also try to not be too loud when we're out and about. There was a point in Alaska where we got to this little camp spot. There's a bluff, and there's this huge valley out in front of us. And I think we saw 3 or 4 moose. I mean, they were maybe within half a mile of us. And they were just doing their thing. And we would just kind of like calm down for the night and just observed and tried to be as discreet as we could. So we really try to have as little impact as we can. There's a point in Costa Rica where we were on a trail and it got a little hairy. It was a trail that was already developed, so we weren't hurting the ecosystem at all that way. But you see parrots flying over you and monkeys around you and all this cool stuff, and you realize that you're just this little part of it, right? So we just try to stay in our little area and do our thing and not disrupt anything else. An animal will look at us and like, whatever, because we're just kind of doing our thing. We try not to be threatening to anything. So, yeah, that's. I'm sure there could be instances where we have maybe slightly disrupted some animal activity, but we try to stay out of their hair as much as we can.
For sure. All right. Moving on to number 6. Some people say humans are animals and most of the impacts we have on nature are natural and should not be prevented. Do you think that we as humans, as ecotourists, belong in nature and our impact is not always harmful? And I mean, that's kind of going in with number 5, but there's a little bit of a different spin on it.
Yeah. I believe we have a place in the food chain, but I think we can be harmful, and I think that's because we, as humans, the way we're set up, we have the most power.
Yep.
Because of our brains, right?
Yep.
So, we can do a lot of damage, and I think we need to be very mindful of how much power we have. I think of, I've done some commercial fishing up in Alaska, up in Bristol Bay specifically, and there's some mining operations up there that are questionable, and there's a whole big deal about it right now of, well, is that going to ruin the salmon, what I believe is the largest natural salmon run in the world right now.
Wow.
Because there's this place up there that they believe is rich with minerals, probably is, and a lot of money can be made. Potentially a lot of good things, I guess, could come of it. But, man, that's a big decision. You get stuff like that, and stakes high. So we absolutely can do damage. And I think it's always being mindful of how much power we actually have in our choices.
Yep.
So, I don't know. It's tough. That's a tough one because there's these ideas that we have is we want to progress humanity, but
true.
We got to think of the long play too.
Yep. Yeah, and I guess that kind of plays into, like, you have to decide, where earlier, like you were saying, decide whether or not to go down the trail any farther. Like, you would have seen cool things, but what are the impacts and whatnot?
Mm-hmm.
What would have happened? So,
Exactly.
A lot of this goes hand in hand. So, I mean, moving into our last question here, it's kind of a long one.
Okay.
During your Central America expedition, you guys were able to help a little girl who needed surgery. Some people may have said that it was none of your guys' business to go and influence their culture, making the argument that those people were getting along fine, and by your team showing up and helping, you were disrupting the culture. Can you defend your actions in the situation and better emphasize in the situation on which the little girl was in and why she needed you guys to perform the procedure?
Sure. Yeah, I think that's a valid argument. In that situation, we were invited into the community. If they would have said, hey, we don't want you here, then we would have respected that. And so how that happened is, before we ever got there, Team 5 had been there before, so they have a clinic set up. And it's kind of a deal where when they arrive, the clinic is open. So everyone got a heads up before we were coming that the clinic's going to be open on this date. And if you want medical service, you can show up to the clinic. So we had, 3 villages worth of people that showed up. Most of it was, deworming and some of that stuff, dentistry work. And then this little girl showed up with her parents. So, it wasn't just her. Her parents were there as well. And the long-term impacts of that surgery are pretty big from a cultural standpoint, really. We weren't able to do any tests on that tumor right there, so we don't know really if that growth was benign or not. Physically, she could have been fine. We don't know. There's a chance she wouldn't have been. But also there's a cultural standpoint that everyone knows she has this growth on her back. And she's a smart, beautiful little girl, but from a cultural standpoint, that could mean, she's not going to potentially have some education opportunities. Maybe she's not going to get married. Maybe she's not going to be able to have a family. And that's just kind of the way things work there a little bit. So, yeah, they came to us. They wanted our help. We made sure that was the case. And we believe that it will give her a better life. So, but yeah, if they would have said, no, we don't want this, we would have been hands off. So I think that is true. I think sometimes we, especially from people from the U.S., get this little complex that we can help everybody all the time.
Yeah.
And there are those situations where maybe those people are better off without our help. And then there's those situations, too, where maybe they just don't want it, and we have to respect that. And I think there's a lot of people who know how to be happy and enjoy life maybe a little bit better than we do, even in spite of their situations. So I think we need to be aware of that too. But they did want our help, and I really believe that we did help her have a better life.
Awesome, yeah. And that's great to hear because, going to these places and helping the people and not harming them is kind of the argument I'm going with here, and trying to prove that we're not just going to places and being greedy and being like, oh, we just want to come here and go ziplining. That's all we want to do. Like, we don't want to just we want to go and help people and kind of be a part of their society, but be a positive impact upon it and not a negative one.
Yeah, and that's something cool about that too. Like that little village and Team 5's activities there is, it's not changing anyone's way of life or their job structure or all of that stuff. It's just saying, hey, here's some medical help. And they actually train some of the people there too, just for general stuff that anybody can do. And so if they want the help, they can get it. And if they don't want it, they don't have to. It's kind of things like, hey, maybe wear some shoes. That would be the biggest change to their way of life.
Yeah.
And that's it. So trying to stay hands off and let them do their thing and provide help where they want.
Yep, for sure. And then there are cases where they may want more help than just like little bits of things here and there, but it seems like everything you guys are doing was pretty respectful and like, hey, you guys want this? All right, then we can go through with it kind of thing. And it's pretty cool to see that. It's really cool to see that kind of stuff from a YouTube channel like that. Like, not all people are out there to help people. Like, they're just going out to go four-wheeling. You guys are out there to actually experience the culture and help people, and that's pretty cool if you ask me. So, yeah.
Those are good questions. I think that's... I wish that the entire traveling community thought like that. A lot of them do.
Yep.
Do. But I think that also kind of goes back to, especially as being from the United States, we have a lot. We've been offered a lot, and we also have the opportunity to learn from all these places that we travel to. So.
Yep.